All right, this video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to rant about some rogues here. The rogue is a very popular and unique subclass in Dungeons & Dragons, gets a lot of love and a lot of hate, and it feels like it's all over the place. I've always felt rogues were fine and they felt good, and I thought they were almost too strong, but then apparently the math of it is they are one of the weakest combat damage dealers. So after the 1 D&D rogue came out and they made a little bit of tiny adjustments, I tried to make my own adjustments and realized 3 huge things that we can address with the rogue. So we're going to rant about those 3 problems. Let me know if y'all agree with me down in the comments. Then I'm going to propose 2 big solutions that I have for an overhaul that I'm working on for this rogue, but I'm going to be heavily using the feedback in this video to sculpt and customize that rogue that I'll eventually be posting a video later in the future. And if you like coming up with homebrew solutions to stuff yourself, stick around the end of the video because I got a cool opportunity for you. But let's get into it. The first thing wrong with rogues is too much of their class features are poured into being skill monkeys and focused on skill checks and ability checks. They are not supposed to be skill monkeys, stay with me, any more than any of the other expert group classes are. In 1 D&D, they showed class groups, and I really do like this, and I am going to try and stay true to the spirit of D&D and get behind this as well, because I do like this overall concept. Rogues, rangers, and bards, and artificers are in the expert class group. They're going to be more likely to be better at skills, especially when they have expertise and other things coming in, but the rogue doubles and triples down on this too much. For example, the bard gets jack of all trades, which lets you add half your proficiency bonus to things you're not proficient in. Cool, that is a great skill monkey type of feat, but it's just one. It gives them that one thing, and they get the expert. Every expert class gets expertise at, early on, and then later on they get expertise in 2 skills. Cool, that's fine, that's great. I see that as an expert. I see that as a rogue and bard and sure ranger. Why not? But jack of all trades is just a little taste, and they get it, and then the bard gets other things, which I'm also overhauling the bard, and it's looks so good. Stay tuned for that. But the rogue has reliable talent and stroke of luck. The 18th level feature for rogues is stroke of luck, which has to do with skill checks. And as a side rant tangent, I don't like either of those because reliable talent, you don't even have to roll anymore. Nat 1s just go out the window. Anything 1 through 9 just goes out the window. For anything you're proficient in, you basically don't even have to roll, and the rolls most of the time won't even matter. Half of the time they won't matter, which just feels bad for me in a game of dice rolling. So for myself, my quick little homebrew fix, and again, let me know what you think of this, if this is encroaching on rogues too much, but trust me, I'm going to give them more things, which you'll see here in a second. I think reliable talent should only apply to things you have expertise in. Because if you pick a skill proficiency, cool, you're proficient at that thing, but you're not an expert. And I feel like you would have to achieve a level of expert to have something so reliable that you can't roll below a 9. Because the player's trying to build a certain character that wants to exceed at certain things, and they're choosing expertise. So I would reward that choice of expertise with a reliable talent. And then the 18th level rogue feature is just you can choose to get a 20 on something, and you can do it once per short rest. Again, no rolling, and you're just choosing to succeed on things. I don't see that as very rogue, which brings me to the second problem. Maybe I should have had it be the first problem, is rogues have the wrong class fantasy. The class fantasy of a rogue is not being a skill monkey. A skill monkey should not be a class fantasy of any of the classes. Every person in Dungeons & Dragons, every character, every class makes skill checks. It's a core part of the game. So why would a core part of the game that everyone does have someone with it one person's just the best at? Sure, the expert class groups can be a little bit better at that because they're experts and all that kind of stuff, but not so much to where the entire class of rogue, most of their class features are poured into skill checks instead of what I think a rogue class fantasy to be. And I would challenge you with this. What is a class fantasy of a rogue? If you had to think of if you're creating a video game, a board game, some sort of tabletop game, what is the class fantasy of a rogue? A stealthy cloaked figure hiding in the shadows, an assassin coming out of nowhere for a killing blow, a thief pickpocketing and stealing things with no one noticing, a pirate standing and swinging across a pirate ship, sword fencing. And if you take a big step back and think of things like ninjas or even Batman, those things have roguish elements, and none of those are skill monkeys. The reason why you think of those as roguish type of archetypes don't have to do with, oh, I want to be good at skill checks. No, they have to do with agility, maneuverability, stealth, sneaking, attack moves, combo moves. Basically a ninja monk with a dagger, but not a skill monkey. And in my defense of why I don't think any of the core classes should be skill monkeys, it's the same thing. It is something that everyone does are skill checks. You should not have a class that is specifically great at that unless they were bad at another part of the game. I have thought of making, and I have some notes of making this, is a pacifist. It is a class in Dungeons & Dragons that is absolutely garbage at combat, but they are a true skill monkey. They would definitely fit into the class group of expert, but they would be absolutely terrible in combat, and almost all of their class features would go into skill checks, would go into role play, would go into things like that. And their subclasses would be further branches out towards the different avenues of all the different different skills. One subclass would focus on nature and survival, another one athletics and acrobatics, another one history and arcana. Because if you truly want to make a character whose class fantasy has nothing to do with combat, a Sherlock Holmes type of thing, not the kind of Sherlock Holmes that's really good at fighting, like a true MacGyver, then that's what you should choose instead of choosing a rogue for some reason to be the skill monkey. And to change gears up for this third issue with rogues is sneak attack. Sneak attack is highly situational, meaning you have to hit certain conditions in order to gain access to being able to use sneak attack. Similar to how a ranger's, the problem with ranger when they had a favorite enemy or whatever, they had to be attacking that favorite enemy. That's a problem, both narratively for the dungeon master to put that enemy in front of people, all that kind of stuff. For a sneak attack, less so of a problem, but you have to meet certain conditions in order to get it or not. And on top of that, it is a one attack because you only get one attack, which we'll get to that here in a second. You get one attack to make it with, and now it can only happen on your turn. So you get one attack, and if you miss, you don't even get a sneak attack that turn. So your already low damage is even lower because you have one chance to have all the conditions line up to be able to get one big sneak attack, or you get nothing. And now we're going to shift into some solutions here because I've ranted on about this and I've dove so far down into rogue, and I've had an epiphany of sorts of where I can see this class going. But keeping true to what a rogue is at its core and not changing it up to where it's something you wouldn't even recognize. And again, I'm going to be using the feedback in this video to sculpt and customize this rogue to the best place that we can get it to, as I've been doing with a rogue and ranger that are currently about to be finished up right now. If you want to get early access to all that stuff, it's going to be available to my patrons. It's going to be one single huge post on Patreon. If you're a patron at any level, you're going to be able to have access to it. I'm going to keep it updated with any updates that I make to these classes across the board as I do all 13 classes. So check out the link down in the description for that. But now the solutions for this now. One is I'm going to ask it in the form of a question. Why don't rogues have extra attack? They're the only martial class that doesn't get extra attack. Why would they not get extra attack? I understand the concept, and is it maybe the class fantasy that they were going for of one big attack that hits really hard? Okay, sure, but for all the same reasons I said about the problem of sneak attack having a 50% chance, you could double the chance for you to be able to ensure you get at least one sneak attack. Because you try it on the first one, if it misses, you can try it on the second try, and now you have a second attack to trigger your sneak attack, meaning you'll more likely be able to trigger your sneak attacks, making your damage average go up. And it's a martial class. Why not give it an extra attack in some way so that at least can attack with 2 daggers? I would totally see a rogue wielding 2 daggers, making 2 attacks with it. And just the overall fantasy of that, why restrict it so much with not getting an extra attack? Because attacking with another dagger isn't even going to be that much damage in the first place. It's going to be a little bit of a bump, but I think a needed bump when it comes to damage and consistency in combat. So in general, where my head's at here when I'm approaching this rework of the rogue is I'm going to be giving them extra attack. At least that's what I'm thinking. Again, let me know if you think that I'm crazy for that or not, but I'm going to give them extra attack. And then I'm also going to change up their sneak attack dice in a big way. Now again, this is all early concept here, so I'm going to be rambling off some things. Nothing is set in stone, nothing specific. I'm wanting to switch rogue's sneak attack dice to combo dice, because I don't see the class fantasy of a rogue being every dice being pulled into one moment for one big strike. I don't really see that in all of the rogue analogies I said, except for maybe the assassin. That's really not part of the class fantasy. I think the rogue would be a bunch of different conditions all aligning together to make one super awesome attack or super awesome turn with a bunch of different combo situations happening. So what I'm saying is for the rogue, there are going to be combo dice that you can earn. In general, let's just say your combo dice is a D6, and different things allow you to add extra D6 onto your attacks. If your attack has advantage, you gain an extra D6. If you're attacking a target that's within 5 feet of an ally, you gain an extra D6. If you're flanking the target in some type of situation, you get a D6. Those are 3 very simple ones, and just off the bat right there, you would be able to have 3 D6 added onto your turn, but in a more consistent way. Instead of one attack, here it is, did I get the D6s or not? It would be lots of different things adding on to what you can try and come up with creatively to do on your turn to be able to get these combo dice, to be able to get more D6s added onto your attacks. I'm gonna throw out a bunch more ideas here, but a lot of these can be baked into the core class of the rogue at the early stages of rogue, and as the rogue levels up, maybe it opens up new ways that you can add more combo dice, or maybe the combo dice would upgrade to a D8. I don't think that's the way that I'd want to go with it. I think it would be adding more options and more maybe passive combo dice that you just get on your turn, kind of like martial dice that you can spin. But anyway, the early rogue would have a limited amount of options as to different things that they could add combo dice for. And then at level 10 or so or 15 or so, you can add more options. And the coolest part here is each of the rogue subclasses can also add different ways to add these combo dice. Maybe for a stealthy specific type of subclass, you could add combo dice if you are hidden. So if you are hidden on the turn, you add 2 combo dice onto your attack. If the target was unaware of your existence and was surprised in a way, you would double the amount of combo dice you have against that target. Situational things like being able to add a combo dice towards opportunity attacks. All opportunity attacks you make have an extra combo dice. Or more combat things where if you just took damage this turn in combat, you gain an extra combo dice as a retaliation type of thing. Or if you just hit the enemy in combat, you could gain a combo dice on your second attack, giving you a little bit of a risk reward for those 2 attacks you get to hit him with 1 attack and then really combo the second one for more damage. Ooh, but what if that attack missed? That's okay. That was a risk you chose to take instead of only having 1 attack ever. Or if it's combo moves with your other allies. If another ally has damaged this creature this turn, you gain a combo dice. Another thought that just came into my mind is from my book, Alkenner's Almanac of All Things, the overhaul of 5th edition rules that I did. One of the martial action types of things that I did is whenever you take a dodge, disengage, help, or whatever action, you can make a 1 attack as part of that action if you have the extra attack feature. So another thing with rogues that we could bake into the class itself of being this versatile combo move type of person is if you take the disengage action, you get a free attack action. And then maybe that turns into a bonus action at higher levels, and then that's another way for them to get a little extra attack in there while they're doing some cool combo moving around stuff. Or maybe at 5th level, we don't give them extra attack. Tell me what you think here. I literally just came up with this, is at 5th level, you give them the ability is as a bonus action, if you take the dodge, disengage, or dash action, you get a free attack as part of that move. So you could dash really fast and slash somebody, you could disengage and stab somebody as you leave, or you could stand your ground and dodge some stuff and get an extra attack as a bonus action as well. Almost feeling like you have an extra attack, but in a very rogue type way. Wow, I really do love that, and I'm glad that I made this video and I'm just riffing here with you guys about homebrew stuff. This is a different type of video, but I hope that you've liked this homebrew rant and ramble. And if you do like homebrew rant and rambles and coming up with this type of stuff, coming up with homebrew mechanics, adventures, monsters, magic items, bonus level up perks, different features that you can give and upgrade people, I'm extending an invitation out to join the Dungeon Coach writing team here as we make 2 PDFs every single month that we give our patrons, and we create things all the time. We have big Kickstarters that are coming up in the works, and I want to bring on 1 or 2 more people onto this team to be able to expand it even further, to be able to increase the quality of what we do here. So all you need to do is send an email of your portfolio and any sort of examples of things that you've written to writing@thedungeoncoach.com. We are looking for some level of professional background here, so if you have a portfolio with examples and stuff, that will help go a long way. But if you are interested in just writing in general and you want to increase and improve your writing abilities, we have different levels on here. We have a pro, varsity, and JV divisions of our writing team that you could join right now and be able to work your way up through the ranks as well. So if you love making anything from magic items all the way to full-blown adventures or full-blown homebrew mechanics of things, send an email to that link, and I'll also put that down in the description as well so you can check it out there. Let me know what you think about this rogue and rant videos like this. So until next time, stay creative, think outside the box. Peace.